Hello everyone, I'm Renown Zero, and we are back again talking about the former PlayStation executive saying that $70 or even $80 games are an absolute steal. That's right. What you're saying to me is that yes, yo ho, a pirate's life for me, because that's exactly what you mean by steal. Sailing the high seas to acquire these video games through emulation. Because it is absolutely crazy to me how these developers or ex-CEOs or ex-executives believe that, yes, with all the broken messes, with all the buggy messes, with all the nonsense coming out of the AAA gaming industry, that they believe that $70 and $80 games are definitely worth that price tag when you have things like de novo and massive game-breaking bugs and things of that nature coming out of the AAA space. Meanwhile, you have Game Pass, that's a great value for the gamer. It's been the best value in gaming. It still continues to be the best value in gaming. And the fact that you could have Game Pass on many multiple devices, including your Amazon Fire Sticks, your PCs, your Xboxes, so on and so on. But no, with Nintendo coming out soon with their Switch 2 and having their $80 games like Mario Kart World, which in my opinion is not worth the $80 price tag. I don't care what the budget is. It is not my concern what the corporation puts in as the budget for this game. It is absolutely not worth $80. And as I've said, I think on Twitter or possibly in a video, don't let the Nintendo drones lie to you by saying that Mario Kart World is indeed the only $80 game when you have the Switch 2 version of Breath of the Wild. Sorry, not Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom, even Breath of the Wild, you could throw that in there. Sure, Metroid Prime 4 will more than likely be an $80 game on the Switch 2, as well as games like Civilization 7, among Kirby in the Forgotten Land, Super Mario Party Jamboree. Those will all be $80 games on the Switch 2. So there's actually more than one. It's just there's these things called upgrade packs. So let's get into this article here from Games Radar Plus. Former PlayStation executive says $70 or $80 games are a steal. As long as people choose carefully how to spend their money, I don't think they should be complaining. For a hobby that's supposed to be very cheap and easy to get into, considering that the prices of consoles have gone up in the last couple of years, even with Xbox's most recent price increase with the $100 increase on the Series X, I do believe that gamers or people, consumers, should be allowed to complain about the price increases of things that are supposed to give you some entertainment and escapism from the real world. It feels to me like the closer we get to the Nintendo Switch 2's June launch and the apparently $80 games associated with it, there's no apparently, there are $80 games associated with Nintendo Switch 2. The more people are fighting with themselves over what is and isn't worth it. But at least Sony veteran and previous head of PlayStation Indies, Shuhei Yoshida, is free from inner turmoil. He thinks relatively expensive, high-quality video games are unequivocally necessary. You've had high-quality video games recently released with things like Expedition 33 and Oblivion Remastered coming in at $50, which is where games should absolutely be at. And they're both available on Xbox Game Pass for $20 a month. So you can try the games out there. You can even get free trials and even get Microsoft, Bing Rewards stuff to get those subscriptions for free. Speaking to Critical Hits Games in a video interview during the recent Gamescom Latam, Yoshida says, quote, "When you look at life in general, other products in price have increased. Yes, other products like necessities, like food, rent, among other things, have increased in price, but these are things necessary to survive. Video games are not a necessity in order for you to survive. These are things that are supposed to entertain you and basically waste time, and again, give you some sort of escapism from the real world. Way more than the game price. So I think it was almost too late for the video game companies to start looking at the pricing structure. And with things like variable pricing now being introduced by Nintendo, as well as Xbox bringing up the variable pricing and saying that budgets may, account for the price of the game, you could almost be sure that GTA 6 will be $100. And I say almost because no one really knows if the game is going to be priced accordingly to their budget that's been rumored to be $2 billion for that game. I don't believe that every game has to be priced the same. I would 100% agree. However, I believe all games should be priced at $50. $60, $70, $80 games are not the way. Yoshida continues, each game has different value it provides or the size of the budget. Again, the budget of the game isn't my problem. The budget is the problem of the corporation trying to sell me the product that they need my money to have support for to create more games. I totally believe it's up to the publisher or developers' self-publishing decision to price their product to the value that they believe they are bringing in. And lately, games that have been priced at $60 and now soon to be $80 are not worth the asking price, considering the games have things like battle passes, season passes, and microtransactions, or even broken, buggy games. So what are we talking about as far as value when you have things like that? So the games aren't even 100% $70 or $80 coming up soon. We've got content packs coming out after the fact. Nintendo openly shares this mindset as current Nintendo of America product experience VP Bill Trinan told IGN in April, quote, we just look at each individual game and we look at the content and the value of that game, and then we say what is the right price for the value of this entertainment. So when people get more expensive video games, they're expecting better quality and more content within that game, and now people are going to be looking at games under a microscope when they decide to charge $80 for video games and not get $80 worth of content within said video game. The developer elected to price its strange Switch 2 tutorial welcome tour at $10. It should be free included with Switch 2, with the Switch 2. Just like Wii Sports was included with Nintendo Wii and Nintendo Land was included with the Wii U at launch. Instead of making it free like PlayStation's comparable Astro's Playroom. Yoshida continues to say that, quote, in terms of actual price of $70 or $80 for really great games, I think it will still be a steal in terms of the amount of entertainment that the top quality games bring to people compared to other forms of entertainment. As long as people choose carefully how to spend their money, he continues, I don't think they should be complaining. You should absolutely be complaining at the absolute dog water that is variable pricing, as Nintendo and Microsoft have both stated. Considering that the price of games are going up and the quality of the games are going down. You even have games like Doom the Dark Ages recently coming out and Indiana Jones not having the full game on the disc. You even have Nintendo pushing game key cards for companies that don't want to include the entire game on the cartridge because the rumors are that they only have the game key cards or 64 gigabyte game cartridges for third-party developers, while they'll have obviously all the game on the cartridge for their first-party titles. It seems rumored to be that the third-party publishers have no choice outside of the 64 gigabyte cartridge or creating a game key card, being greedy like Square Enix putting 11 gigabytes of data onto a game key card because they do not want to spend the extra money to put Bravely Default on a 64 gigabyte cartridge. You even had companies like Gung Ho, who recently released the Lunar Remaster Collection, a 7 gigabyte game that couldn't apparently fit on a 64 gigabyte disc that was sold to people, and they even charged you $5 extra for a physical copy of this game when you can get it digitally for $50. And I don't understand why these companies are so greedy, ask you for more money, and can't even fit the entire game on a 64 gigabyte dual-layered Blu-ray disc. But they expect you to spend $70 on things like Doom the Dark Ages and Indiana Jones without even having the full game on the disc. Probably back in March or April, I spent $50 on Split Fiction and it came with 2 discs. So the entire game was on the 2 discs. So I can't understand why a company like Microsoft cannot create Doom the Dark Ages and put however many discs they need to completely have the game on the disc. Same thing with Indiana Jones. I don't understand why they can't do this. It's not real ownership if the game isn't even fully on the disc. The last era to have that was the 360 and PS3 era. It has been an absolute crap show for physical collectors after that generation ended. It's absolutely disgusting the way these companies are continuing to be greedy by not giving you the full game on the cartridge or disc, respectively, for whichever company uses whichever source of media. So, thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. How do you feel that $70 or $80 are a quote-unquote steal? Do you go ahead and sail the high seas? Or do you pay that $70 or $80 for more quality and more variable pricing, as Microsoft and Nintendo will state? Subscribe for more content, hit the bell for notifications, set the bell to all, that way you'll get a notification anytime I post a new video or go live on the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.